Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel, I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So in a world where all the games are using Unreal Engine, it seems like Ninja Gaiden 4, it's not using Unreal Engine. So aside from, we had Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is a remaster from the Ninja Gaiden 2 in the past in the channel, and it was using Unreal Engine, but it seems like Ninja Gaiden 4, it's not using Unreal Engine, which is interesting. It is using its own proprietary engine. This game it is developed by Platinum Games, and it's using their Platinum engine, which is way much less demanding than Unreal. And also there is traversal stuttering and there is shader compilation stuttering, but very, let me just raise this, very rare. And it's a very lightweight game and actually beautiful thanks to the quick mega scan textures in here. So I'm playing with 1080p maximum settings over here, and it's very easy to achieve an experience above than 60 frames per second with no issues. You could saw some stutter here and there sometimes happening, but let me just say that I'm playing with a clean state shader PSO cache, which means that I did clean the shaders before launching every single setting that I did try. So what it is to be expected is that if you play the game normally, which is going through the tutorial, when you reach this area you won't be having any single stutter. And what it is happening at the moment is that you can see a stutter or two, because I think it's obvious that I want to try the game without any shaders to make this comparison a little bit more fair, because on my first run the game could be playing much better, much worse I mean, than the rest of the settings that I would be trying, because the shaders were already compiled. And so I did reset the shaders, just like I usually do in all my benchmarks. But like I said, the game runs like a dream. It's not using Unreal, and it's part of one of the Xbox Game Pass studios, which is something interesting. Unfortunately, it's a very expensive title at the moment, but it's also a very good action game if you like games like this. Performance is just brutal, without any issues above than 60, like I said. And you have options like FSR if you want. I'm not sure which version of FSR it is being used in here. I don't even know if this is compatible with FSR 4. But also the game does support DLSS if you have an NVIDIA card, and you have frame rate limits that goes in between 30, 60, 120 and 240. There is no way to disable the frame rate limit, being the highest limit to the 240 frames per second, which I think it's a little bit stupid. These guys should allow us to just unlock the game frame rate, but for me it's fine. Usually when I do lock the games, I do lock to 60, since I still play at 60 Hz. Kill me. Now, the regular anti-aliasing solution that you have aside from FSR and the DLSS, it is actually TAA, and that's about it. So going with 1440p, my recommendation, it is a little bit different. So my recommendation stands with 1440p median preset while using FSR on its balanced mode. So essentially what you will be doing, it is playing natively at 820p, so it's not even 900p, okay, but using FSR to upscale to 1440p. Also, you won't be playing with maximum settings, you will be playing with median. Of course, you can raise textures, for example, since we have VRAM for that, but the rest of the preset, it is kept to median, which uses a lot of settings at low, since the only option is either low or high, and the median preset, in between choosing in between low or high, it does choose low. But I mean, I barely notice any difference in between all these settings. To be honest, all of them look the same in this scenario. I'm not really sure how noticeable it will be in other different scenarios, but on this map specifically that I did try, I really didn't notice too much of a difference. Obviously, if I use a magnify and compare like images side by side, probably I will find one. But while traversing this very fast-paced game, I think it's actually holding on pretty well. And even using textures on median, it just, oh my god, it looks just brutally very good in that sense. So, and also performance, it is brutally also brutal, above than 60 frames per second. So the average it is 100 pretty much. The 1% lows is R80. So it's just super playable. I'm not expecting to have any issue with these settings, and given that visually it looks pretty much the same as playing with the eye settings, I think it's a very good setting in case you want to try it out. Of course, as usual, I have in here a side by side with other two settings that I did try at 1440p, which is 1440p using maximum settings and using FSR on its quality mode, and also 1440p with max settings without any upscaling. So 1440p max settings with FSR on its quality mode, you will be upscaling pretty much at 900p, okay? And the performance that you will get, it is somewhat above than 60, but it can drop below than that. I do recommend that setting if you have a variable refresh rate screen. As for 1440p max, you can also get away with that setting if you have a variable refresh rate screen, but I'm not 100% sure if your screen will handle it or not. So it's easy to recommend to go, if you have a variable refresh rate, just go with maximum settings at 1440p, and then if you feel like your screen it isn't handling very well, just apply FSR on its quality mode and enjoy the game. As for 4K, my recommendation it is to go with 4K median. Just like 1440p, I did recommend the median setting, but this time around, instead of going with FSR on its balanced mode, my suggestion it is to go with FSR on its performance mode. So by using this, you will be upscaling from 1080p to 4K, and again, just like I said previously, given that the median settings is, in my opinion, no different than the eye settings, at least while playing and while killing and do all the stuff, I think it does look really good, and you can expect a performance above than 60. So the issue in here, which is not an issue, is that at 1440p with median and FSR on balance, your average was around 100, and in here your average is around like 80-75 frames per second. Still very good result in my opinion, and what I do care the most are the 1% lows, which are entirely above than 60. So if you want to play the game at locked 60, it should be stable with no drops, possibly in moments with very big alpha effects like big explosions and all of them at the same time. Yeah, it might drop below than 60, but you also have a toggle inside the graphical options, which is the dynamic resolution. Honestly, I didn't try it out. Some games does it right, some games does it wrong, but it should solve those drops below than 60. Okay, so and again 4K, I did try the game with also other different settings. And on the left, it's 4K FSR on balanced mode, so you will be upscaling in something in between 1080p and 1440p. Your experience will be what I would define to be like a variable refresh rate screen experience. It should be above than 45 or 40 most of the time, and that 4K maximum settings on the right with FSR quality, upscaling from 1440p to 4K, your experience will be above than 30. So that's all that I want to talk about Ninja Gaiden 4. Hope you did enjoy the video, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.